What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is September 21st of 2017. So I've been getting a lot of requests recently to cover a recently launched ICO in the enterprise solution market, and it is no other than the NEBLIO ICO. So I was kind of interested to cover this as much as it is on the small cap side of things. And the reason being is I get very anticipatory about blockchain applications for enterprise. I've been really interested in Neo, Ethereum, Quantum, Stratus, Icon. I mean, you can name a countless other amount of competitors in the space that are trying to be the enterprise solution, the one where business is going to migrate to the blockchain. And to me, it's a fascinating concept that I not only see as feasible, but very powerful for saving companies money, being able to implement new technologies utilizing blockchain, and being able to do things more efficiently. So it really does interest me. However, NEBLIO is a small cap. It's very early on, and it could be a really good potential winner if it does end up being one of the leaders in the long run. However, it's a very competitive space, and we have to keep a very kind of competitive, critical mindset in the sense that it's so early on. However, I do want to talk about what makes NEBLIO stand out, look at its roadmap, its features, and its team to really see if it can be the leader. But before we can dive into that, folks, today, as always, we've got to look at the numbers first and foremost. So let's go ahead and jump into the analysis. So I think one of the biggest setbacks, but also one of the greatest opportunities about NEBLIO is that it's so early on. So if we look at the market cap here, we're only sitting at around a $12 million valuation, which really isn't much in the crypto world. However, I will say that there's a reason I think why it's so low, and we can also see the volume is not there to where I feel comfortable trading it whatsoever. Now, investment might be a little bit of a different story, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So, however, the circulating supply, though, is looking very nice. It seems like, though, even though this is a proof-of-stake cryptocurrency, I think that right now it's fine as it is. It's not something to worry about. I think the supply is actually a good selling point for it. It's very slow to build up. So if this really does get adopted, this will be big. However, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the volume here, because as you all know, I keep consistent and I say I do not trade and even cases of investing unless I really believe in the project. I don't breach my rule of investing in something that has less than $500,000 in volume. The reason NEBLIO has such low volume is because, quite frankly, it's only traded on Cryptopia. Now, you all know that I talk pretty negatively about Cryptopia too. I think that this is becoming a more common trend in the ICO space. There is so many ICOs coming out nowadays that Bittrex and Bitfinex cannot keep up with it. With all the new kind of excitement in the industry, yet also the worry about regulation, a lot of exchanges are not taking on new ICOs, at least at the rate that they need to. And I think you're seeing more ICOs just jump onto EtherDelta, Cryptopia, and a lot of other kind of secondary exchanges that really aren't the leading ones. I think so long as NEBLIO can get on Bittrex, I'll feel a lot more secure about it. And what I like, though, is that its price action is maintaining very well. Not a lot of people are just pumping and selling it after it came out. So, again, I'm liking this sense of price action, but I'd like to get it on Bittrex. That would be really great. And I think that will lead NEBLIO to getting a lot more valuation and volume if we can get on one of those exchanges. Just a fair critical point I want to make and let you all know if you're interested in this cryptocurrency by the end of the video. So, NEBLIO, let's go ahead and jump into the website. The website itself is very professional. I think it's definitely, for its scale and size, I think it's very good in the sense of marketing. But you can tell basically they're focused on building enterprise applications and services on the NEBLIO blockchain. So, again, enterprise solution, and that can mean a variety of things as we go through and we learn about it. So, as you can see, they've also got a lot of media coverage as well, which is decent. No crazy large names, but a lot of ICO trackers and websites. So, definitely has gotten some media coverage. Again, trying to be an open source blockchain solution for business. This is something that's very important and I think will have a position in the future. The question is, can NEBLIO do it different and can they do it best? To know exactly where the value derives in the NEBLIO token, you have to understand that it is the blood of the NEBLIO economy, the whole application of blockchain for NEBLIO. You have to use the NEBLIO token. It's the blood drive for transactions, for using different types of decentralized applications on the NEBLIO network, etc. So that's basically where the token's value derives. I think that's pretty common with most things, but just want to reiterate that. So it is definitely the fuel of everything on the platform. There's also business value. They actually offer a lot of, or at least they're planning on offering a lot of flexibility in the sense of APIs and different programming languages for the network. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And we can also see that it's focused on being decentralized and secure. So we'll learn about how they keep security in the sense of transactions. They have certain stuff, as we'll look into in a minute when we look at the Discover tab, that really guarantees that there's no point of failure on the network, which I like as well. So again, they've got a wallet already launched, they've got a roadmap, and they've also got a Discover More tab, which we're going to go ahead and dive into. So again, continuing on the website, it looks professional, looks nice in my opinion. However, just because you got a pretty website doesn't mean that it's going to be a winner. We'll have to see as we go in. Security is a big concern so far for NEBLIO. We can see that transactions are consistent and accurate across the entire network because of how they use a distributed database that guarantees transactions cannot be altered. So I think that's interesting. I think blockchain itself already at its core is pretty secure, but to have that extra level of security, I think that would be interesting if they offer something past standard blockchain security for the sense of transactions. And then also the blockchain platform for everyone. I really like this. So in the enterprise solutions market, trying to bring enterprise over to blockchain, you need simplicity. I think so many enterprise solutions out there do not focus on the simplicity of bringing people over to the platform. So the fact that they're offering APIs, offering a variety of languages, I think this is good. It's good to have that in mind from the get-go, whether or not they've delivered on it yet. That is the question, though. Will they be able to actually deliver on this? And we've always got to keep in mind here, folks, this is something that, Michael and I from Box Mining were talking about with in regards to NEO versus Ethereum. You have to think about what you are going to do to attract an entire community of developers to your platform because, quite frankly, Ethereum's got a great set of tools and a great community already. What's going to make people want to jump to this platform? That's the serious critical question you have to ask. So, again, if they can make it really simple and have solid APIs, flexibility of programming languages, that will attract people. But again, it still will take time, even if they can deliver on that. So again, this is a 100% proof of stake network. As I talked about earlier, this runs off proof of stake. You could start staking and secure the network with keeping your wallet open. And then also it's nice, I think that every proof of stake always mentions this, it's energy efficient in the sense that you're not using proof of work. So definitely better for the environment, but a lot of people have despairing opinions on proof of stake versus proof of work. I think both systems are imperfect, but proof of stake is more of an enterprise solution system. So there's a few different use cases that they have listed for NEBLIO, and a lot of this, as we'll go through and look at the white paper later, they've mentioned a lot of this as well. Secure record management, so recording transactions, data. I think that that's literally one of the biggest uses of blockchain is security of information and distributing that information simply and making transactions for it, as well as regulatory compliance and audit trails. I like how they have this built into the NEBLIO blockchain. It's immutable, guaranteeing that they are accurate and unaltered for auditing purposes. Very important for business solutions. And then the Internet of Things and big data. So if you're curious about what the Internet of Things means and big data, it's literally just collecting all this information, being able to transfer it over the blockchain, being able to securely store that information and transfer it on the blockchain, because that's a big security. Being able to securely store information is good. Transferring it to another party securely is also another whole story. So we'll have to see if NEBLIO can deliver on that. I think that's important. If they can do that, that'll be good. I like the scale. This is a really big standout point as well. The scalability without a single point of failure. So basically, whereas networks depend on nodes to run the network, the NEBLIO network can run off as few as 2 nodes compared to having the need for millions of nodes. So they have a system in place that ensures a distributed database, so they don't have to worry about a large number of nodes running the network, and your applications will stay up even if the nodes go down. So very interesting selling point in that sense. And again, they have a nice website that just lays all this out and stuff. So I think that they're doing well in a marketing sense. And here's a timeline if we want to go through it. I'm going to go through it on the white paper. It's a little more condensed. So again, they started off in early 2017. There was a need for a blockchain solution for enterprise. They had their public token sale. They released their Electrum Light wallets for mobile already, which is actually, I don't know if I'm curious if they've actually released that yet. It's in Q4 of 2017. So I know that they do have their wallet launched, and I know that if they're going to continue to work on that, if they can get mobile wallets, that will be good. The one thing I like, though, is the fact that they're focusing on developing APIs for a variety of languages. So Python, Go, JavaScript, Ruby, .NET, Java, Node.js. I mean, these are a good range of flexible languages to work with. If they can deliver on this and offer that, I think it'll be a really good selling point. to get things like Python, especially seeing as they're focusing on data enterprise solution, and then also JavaScript, .NET, Java. I mean, these are really big languages. Ruby for development. I think that these are really good, so long as they can deliver on it. That's the real question here. That's why I'm staying critical of it, folks. I think that its enterprise solution is awesome, but again, everyone can come up with their own ideas for enterprise solution. They've got to really deliver on this. So they're going to be focusing on really getting their first customer base in Q2 of 2018 to really get people onto the enterprise solution for them. And they're also going to be launching the NEBLIO API Suite V2 in 2018 or Q3 of 2018. And then from there on out, it's simply just growing an adoption, seeing if people can actually use the NEBLIO platform for adoption. So again, it looks good. And of course, you can scroll through here and they'll talk about not only a few of their features, but also some of their use cases as well. The same things that we've kind of looked at on their website. They do a good job of bringing a lot of the major selling points over the website, so I will give them that. So anyways, let's go ahead. Actually, now this is the same page as the timeline. I want to go ahead and look at the team here. The one thing that I'm really a little bit critical about here, they do have some rock stars on this team. If you all know, I like to look for people who have experience, and I check out their LinkedIns and look for any information I can find on them. With Eddie, Anna, Anne, Yuval, and then Riley, they are some real rock stars. A lot of them have experience in regards to what they're doing. So they have the co-founder and lead developer, Eddie, here. He himself has worked in 2 very large companies. They've got Capital One and Cisco, major names, as a software engineer. He's served as a senior software engineer for both of the companies. So I think he's got a good level of experience behind him, a good few years as working as a software engineer. I think that's important to have someone who's worked at some large names like that. And it shows you that, he's focused in Richmond, Virginia as well. That's interesting. So again, this is very, very good stuff to see that he has this kind of experience behind him. So we'll have to definitely see if he can lead on the side of development. But we also have as well, Anne as well. I don't know if I should call her by her full name and stuff, but on the website it was Anne. And she's been working at HP. So again, this is very interesting stuff. I think to see someone who's, again, people who have worked at these large names is definitely a good selling point. Just because you work at a blue-collar or blue-chip company doesn't mean you're, per se a rock star, but they do have the work experience behind them. These aren't just people who are like, just starting out, creating some blockchain solution, like, oh yeah, we'll find developers later, So they definitely do have some people with either development or project management experience. And we can also see Riley as well, who has worked as a data scientist and a backend developer for Swish Analytics, which is a sport, it's from what I got, kind of like a sports betting kind of company where they do sports analytics and stuff like that. So again, people who have worked on the back end of some pretty interesting projects. The problem is here that I see, as much as I think these are all rock stars, and it looks like they're hiring, the one thing that really makes me concerned is that they only have 4 people. If you want to have the leading enterprise solutions, option in the crypto space, you've got to get some rock stars in there. You got to get more and more people stacked in there. Now, a high number of individuals doesn't equate to being a great project. I mean, Ethereum has been built up on its original basis from a very small community, same as Bitcoin as well. However, I really think that we're going to learn later on, if you want to beat out Ethereum, if you want to beat out Neo, if you want to beat out all the other enterprise solutions, like ICO, for example, that's based in South Korea, that's getting funding from the government, and is getting a lot of funding and anticipation from the community. It's been in the works for 2 years. NEBLIO, as well as other enterprise solution ICOs, have got a lot to catch up. And they've really got to make sure they deliver on those selling points that we talked about earlier in the sense of APIs and flexibility of language. So, again, I don't want to be negative on it and everything. They've got a lot going for them as we go through the website and a lot of their things. But there's one thing I want to leave you off with in the sense of tracking stats. They have a really cool page called NEBLIOstats.com. This is one of my Patreons who's interested in NEBLIO sent me. And you can find their current price. You can find the proof of stake difficulty, total monetary supply for NEBLIO, wealth distribution. You can know who, generally in the sense of kind of like ranking in the sense of net worth of NEBLIO, how much they own, and again, the block explorer as well. So I think that it's cool stats. I'm a data nerd like this. I like this kind of stuff. So if you want to look into this, kind of get some extra data information on it, feel free to check out NEBLIOstats.com. I think it's a cool little web application that I think they offer for checking out the stats for. And I gotta say though, I do like the price action on this. This has been doing very well since its ICO, folks. And right now it almost looks like it's flagging over the next few days. I don't have a Cryptopia account, But I honestly might consider getting one because it's becoming more and more common for ICOs to go on these exchanges first and then move over to Bittrex when people start to really adopt them and they start to start trending up. So again, I don't want to be negative on it, but quite frankly, I don't like that it's limited to its exchange, and I think it's just very early on. It's very high risk at this point. But it seems like they got a great team, and it seems like they got some good ambition. So long as they can stick to their timeline, deliver on it promptly, I think that NEBLIO could be a winner. It could definitely get some growth from the valuation that it's at. With only $12 million in valuation, if it becomes the leading enterprise solution option, there is multitudes to gain from investing in this. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see if they can deliver on it. Folks, that gives me a question, though. Do you all think that NEBLIO is going to be that solution? Do you think that there's any good selling points about NEBLIO that you like? Maybe something that I missed covering in the video? Please leave a comment down below, guys. I want to get a discussion going on this and really talk about your favorite enterprise solution ICO. If NEBLIO is it, or do you think Neo, Ethereum, Quantum, Stratus, all the other ones have better selling points? Again, I want to get a discussion going, have a good talk with you all. But until then, everyone, I will see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.